Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Ziam, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. He's backed by a popular demand, private practice therapist, and 30, 40 years experience, author, clinical trainer, and the president of the Community Psychological Center program in Bangor, Maine. He's worked in clinics for deaf children, prisons, nursing homes, substance abuse centers, and also inpatient facilities and major corporations. And we had him on a few years ago and was called a Fix Your Handbook, which basically presents the process way of life. And he'll cover that once again. And we came back later on with the Fix Your Anxiety Handbook. And once again, the handyman of all, he's coming back to help fix your depression, which is book 3 of the Fix It Yourself series. So no need to get a therapist. Live, ladies and gentlemen, Plus Studios in beautiful downtown Eastern Pennsylvania. The amazing author of the Fix It Handbook series, ladies and gentlemen, backed by a popular man, Dr. Faust Ruggiero. Dr. Faust, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us once again.
Hey, Mike, it's good to be here. Every now and then I have to write a book just to get back on your show.
It is like a subconscious or something. It's like that. Hey, I want to come back in your show. I got to fix this problem. I got to write another book. Oh gosh. So yeah, and so you've been doing this for about 30, 40 years as a private practice therapist, author, clinical trainer, president of Community Psychological Center in Bangor, Maine, and you've been helping out a number of people. Yeah, that's right. So I mean, you work with deaf children, prisons, nursing homes, substance abuse centers, inpatient facilities, major corporations, small, medium, large, and just about everything. You've done it all. You wrote the Fix Yourself Handbook, also Fix Your Anxiety, and now you got a book called Fix Your Depression, and it's part of the book 3. So, and before we get to that, tell us about the first 2 books and how are they doing, by the way?
First 2 books are doing great. We did the first one in 2019, and first time authors, it slowly found its niche. When the Fix Your Anxiety book came out, now everybody started to really look at, because that's what the country's in an anxious mode right now. So it took off and actually dragged the first book up with it. And now, we're at the pre-sales for the new book are just, just far beyond what we thought they were going to be. So, it's now starting to pick up. We've got, the next 2 books already planned. So, it's really moving in a nice direction.
And certainly as well too that basically covers a process way of life in terms of physical, spiritual, also intellectual and emotional. Very important indeed.
Well, and that's what you tell people. You're going to do it, you do it right. You hit everything. You don't just say, I'm going to get this one little piece, because the one you don't get is going to be the one that comes back and gets you. So, it's fit with, human beings, physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual. You go after the whole person.
And certainly indeed as well too that you also cover things like you got the anxiety demon, and you also got life stealers, and of course you also just have people who are just going through life. It's like you're anxious. Okay, what do you do?
Well, you and I, before we started the interview, we were talking about everybody going so fast. You want to get a great bed partner for anxiety. It is moving fast. It's the speed we put into our lives. It's the pace. It's the going after things all the time. We're never satisfied. We're trying to keep up with the crowd. It's all those kinds of things. We just need to slow down a little bit and learn how to put things in perspective.
And of course, a lot of things have a trigger anxiety too. It's like we talked last. It was the COVID. It was also job layoffs, and it was also social media getting out of control, and of course all the news events that are happening. Earthquakes, disasters, tsunamis, and even blizzards locally up here. But we manage how to handle it, but some people don't. So a lot of things. I think we talked last. What was it, 2020 or 21 or somewhere around there? It's like a lot of events were happening, and people handled it and some people just didn't.
Well, you're hitting it on the head. These things are happening, and then we have a whole different way of reporting these things. The old days when you and I grew up, you turn on the news and it was some unbiased person presenting you with facts. Today, it's all sensationalism. It's see how can we get them to react? It's news that isn't news. It's not always the facts. It's not truth, and people are reacting to this. And we live now on in a world that's it's a global scale that we're functioning in. So in the old days, I can remember being a kid and the Vietnam War was on, and you'd get some reports on the the 5 o'clock news at night, and maybe the next news segment. Today, it's all over the place. And we hear whether it's the Ukraine or it's what's happening in Israel, we get all these reports all over the place, and everybody's waiting for the next shoe to drop. And now the new thing is, look, in the next 3 or 4 months, America's going to get hit with something. It's going to be financial. It's going to wreck us, the whole deal. So people now are pulling money out of places, and we are reacting. We're not taking a step back and thinking. We're reacting to everything.
Also, people look in their phones too for the latest feed, and I'm also seeing too that you got news services out there, like news every minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, or a half hour, 45, an hour or so. And you hit on the head too, just watching the 5 o'clock news back in the day. Then you went into the network watching Walter Cronkite from CBS, Harry Rizner from ABC, Floyd Calver from NBC, and also had the McNeil Lehrer Report in PBS, and you had to wait. And of course, you also wait for the daily news to come out in the morning. And all of a sudden, it's like, you're right. We're getting just bludgeoned all over the place. You don't know where to turn to or who to trust these days.
And that's that trust factor really, really energizes this whole anxiety movement, because, it doesn't seem like our home is a safe place anymore. And as we invite the demon in, so to speak. I even when people come to counseling with me, they lay their phones on. I have a kind of a end table next to them, and they'll put their phone on and they'll flip it up, and as they're talking, I'll see them looking over every time it dings, because they can't disconnect. It's another part of this. We're so addicted to this way of doing things that not only is it being fed to us, we're consuming it, and we can't stop consuming it. So, if we go back to the old days, the way anxiety hit us on a scale of 1 to 10, it might have been a 1 or 2, and that was normal. Now it's a 5 or 6. That's our base. And, all it takes is 1 or 2 things, and we're up at a 7 or 8, and we're reacting, and we're going at each other, and, medicines at just a
Oh my
tremendous
gosh,
rate.
yeah. And of course, you see all these ads up there. It's like every time, popped up on my phone, you want to just, see if your wife texted you, or or somebody needs to call you. It's like, all these ads just pop up for everything. It's almost like you see them on billboards, and they just cover like, full page spreads like it's nothing. You're right. You're getting just bombarded with all these medical ads, and it's just like, oh, I can't explain it.
Well, I tell people, you got to take this apart. You go on television, you turn a TV show on, and 3 or 4 of the commercials in that hour are pharmaceutical companies, and they are selling something that you and I can't buy. We have to go to a doctor to get a prescription to get that. So you ask yourself, why are they selling that to me? I can't just go in the drugstore and buy it. They're not selling the drug. They're selling the drug culture. They want us to be as dependent on those things as possible. So keep bombarding us. You see these wonderful people singing songs, and they're doing all their things, and then after the thing is over, they give you about 10 things that are horrible side effects, and they close it with, so take this and you'll feel wonderful. And we're going right over those side effects, and we are all taking these medications. And I say, what for? Most of them, if you live your life right and you eat properly and exercise and sleep, most of those medications you won't need.
And of course, they have a thing where it's just like, if you're taking this, you're taking that, you're taking that, you're taking that. It's almost like you control this effect, that effect, that effect. And I'm trying to think of what one drug that makes you take like this to control. But I mean, we're all just bombarding everything else. Of course, we all have our demons, we have our life stealers and everything. And we'll talk about the latest book, the Fix Your Depression with Dr. Faust Ruggiero. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at SonicWebStudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews. And Evil Evan enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forge Riley, and Eminem. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com or 40 podcast platforms. Heard in 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Also on Apple Music, Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, LinkedIn. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and more. Take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies. Makes great gifts 24/7 year-round. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles, plus T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, and more. Enjoy gifts all year round. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. And support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with the amazing author, Dr. Faust Ruggiero, here on the Mike Wagner Show with the Fix Your Depression book, part of the Fix Yourself series. And what's the best way to fix your depression? Let's hear from you.
Well, depression is one of those things where you gotta, it's just like anxiety, you gotta attack it physically first. People will do all these things. They'll change this in life. They'll all these ideas about how they're going to stop it. It's a physical condition first, and that means we're talking about neurotransmitters, chemicals in the body that stimulate the brain to do what they're supposed to do. When you have depression, they're not working very well. So it's about changing your lifestyle. It's about getting your body in shape first. That's first and foremost. It's not the whole picture, but that's where you start. Then you work with emotions. Then you work with changing, retraining your brain to do some things. But I always tell people, let's start there. Let's start with your body first.
Mm-hmm. And that is the most important thing. And what is the exact part about the body? It's like, where do you start? And then just work your way up, just step by step, a little bit. And we talked about earlier too, that you don't just rush in and, fix it together. It's like you build a foundation and you start putting it piece by piece by piece. Think of it as the old Yankee Stadium back in the day, or Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, or even say Mellon Arena in Pittsburgh, or something like the Igloo. So
yeah, and that's what it is. It is step by step, and I actually do chapters on that, going slow. All my books have that. Take your time. It's incremental change. Your condition you didn't wake up with it one day saying, my God, I have depression. It's been there for a while. It's been building, so it's going to take a while to get it to the point that it's manageable. And you start with your body. And how do you do that? You try to get a schedule in your life. Get up in the morning at the same time if you can, same time to bed. A good diet, get away from all the garbage that we put in it, the alcohol, the accelerants, all that kind of stuff. Try to get those out of there. Get yourself a good eating plan, and exercise if you can get that. And exercise can be 20 minutes of walking. Just get out there and do something. Get your body healthy again. Get your weight down if it's a problem. Those types of things. I tell people, get to your doctor. Make sure physically you're okay. If you've got depression, make sure things like your hormone levels are in order. Your thyroid is doing what it's supposed to be doing. All those things contribute. Start there. Get the blood work done. Then start building, a body that can withstand what happens when depression starts to hit.
Mm-hmm. And also some factors too that can also trigger depression. And we talked last about some of the things that trigger anxiety and some of the other events that trigger depression.
Yeah, and triggers are all over the place. You know, we were just talking before about what's happening in the world. That can make you anxious, or if you're a person that gets depressed, that can really push you to the point that you can't deal with these things. You know, so there's so many triggers in the world, and we're talking world events. It could be personal triggers, it could be family things, finances, death, marriage breakups, you name it. They're there. And the thing is, these things are always going to be there. That's the key. That's what I try to get people to understand. The world is dynamic. It changes. It comes at you. It never stops. You want to be a person that can field what's coming at you, that can take that stuff and not let it break you down, that you can put it in perspective, respond accordingly, have a plan to do what you need to do, execute your plan, and feel good about yourself.
And you also use anxiety demon and also depression life stealer. Those are some of the couple of big terms as well, too. Talk about those two demons you have in the book.
Yeah, what I'm talking about specifically is that when people get anxiety and they can't beat it, no matter what they do, doesn't stop, or the depression's been there for years, they can't get motivated, feel horrible, they're in their room locked up, whatever it may be. I want them to understand that this is not who they are. Because after it's there for so long and you tried so many things, you just say, well, this is me, and you give up. That's a condition you have, like diabetes or anything else. It's a condition you have. It's not who you are. That's why I use the demon. Let's fight the demon. Let's fight the life stealer. Let's fight those. Those are the things that you're dealing with, like a condition you have. And we don't do that. We get real quiet about it. We hide it. We don't tell anyone. If you have cancer, you champion it. I have cancer and I'm going to beat it, and I'm a cancer survivor. We don't hear those things with anxiety and depression. We hear people being beaten and assuming that's who they are and giving up. And we don't want to give up. They're conditions we have. They are not who we are. And every condition is beatable.
And I remember back in the day, too, you're able to beat cancer, beat depression, but you don't hear too much about it. And how do we manage to get it back?
Well, and that's just it. We've become too dependent on the medications. As an example, when I started counseling way back, in the early 80s, probably 5% at the most people come in the office were on medications.
Oh, my gosh.
Today,
Wow.
when they come in, probably 3/4 of the people who get to my office are on some type of a medicine to deal with anxiety or depression.
hmm
Now that tells us where the shift is. We used to want to work our problems out. Now we want to get them done as fast as we can. And we're being sold this fake kind of a thing that says, hey, look, you do this quickly, it's going to be gone. And what happens is they take it, and for a while they feel a little better, but the medication is only going to work for a certain time. Then you go back and they increase the dose, or they add this other medication, or we'll take that one out and start all over again. And now you're in the medication cycle, and that's a hard one to get out of.
And of course, it just takes a few just a few adjustments as well. I remember watching Beverly Hillbillies episode. You remember that show? And it's like I always get I always get a big laugh out of this show, and that's probably the best way to get out of a bad mood, watching Beverly Hillbillies. And there was an episode on there one time where they had a special needs kid being given all these medications, and then one day he goes to Jed Clampett's house, and they're like, hey, I'm having fun, and afterwards, forget the medication. So I think we need to just realize, hey, a little bit of interaction just get you off medications. And sorry, pharmaceuticals, hate to do that to you.
Well, you know what? You're hitting it on the head. What I'm telling people is, aside from humor, we have everything inside us to beat all these conditions. Again, if you've got cancer or those kind of, you've got to deal with that. But when we talk about these kind of depression, anxiety, and finding who we are, is what people like to say, we have all that inside us. We got to stop paying attention to all these other things that are coming, all these outside things that are supposed to fix us. We have the power. That's why I call my program the Fix Your Empowerment Series. We have it all in us already. We got to stop surrendering it to outside stuff. And what we're doing is just putting dollars in some corporations' coffers, where we should be putting that attention into ourselves and just becoming strong people. We're becoming weak people who are dependent on things. We want to be strong. We want to be able to say, no, that's there. I got this, and I will beat it.
And certainly indeed as well too. And of course, of course, there's obviously the signs of depression, social skills and poor self-image and low energy and everything else. And just takes a few fixes and just a few suggestions as well.
Yeah, yeah. The key is get it out of yourself. Stop following the crowd. Stop taking advice from people who don't know what they're talking about. Get yourself into a counseling program. Start sitting down and talking, slowly tearing things apart. Trust a person enough to be able to say, okay, I'm not doing this real well. It's not working for me. Maybe I can do this with you. Maybe you'll help me do it. And they're going to help you put together a program that step by step is going to help you fix what you need to fix.
And of course, you also had some celebrities and well-known people coming to you ever since you put out the Fix It handbook. It's like there's just so many people just coming to you. It's amazing.
Well, it's nice as you know, as we talked about it before. If you stick to something, whether it's getting yourself to feel better and get these conditions out of your life, or to take your own career and move it forward, it's a day-to-day process. You don't get to the point where, oh, gee, I got there, now I can stop and sit back, because when you do, you start to move backwards. You just keep on working things forward, and people see that and they say, okay, bona fide program there. Look at what he's doing there. I can see this is working. I can see when I read those books, I can see that step by step, he's dealing with everything that's got to be dealt with. I like this. And since I have a public platform, I'm going to tell everyone else that, hey, this is working.
And certainly is working too. And you got a podcast as well too. Tell us about that.
Well, I've got a couple things going. The podcast is the Fix Your Empowerment podcast is one of those things where I just talk about like what we're talking now. Pick a subject, and I'll go. And then there's a radio show that I do where I interview guests that are experts in various areas. So you put the whole thing together, they're getting a lot of information about a lot of different subjects that's constantly coming at people, but it's not selling a whole lot of things. There are books there. The rest of it is free, radio show or podcast or what I'm doing with you. Tune in and get some information that works, that has a research background, that we researched it to the point that we know what works and what doesn't work. We pushed out what doesn't work, and what I'm giving people is researched and clinically viable stuff. That's what we want for people.
And where can we find all your books at, including the Fix Your Depression Handbook app?
You get everything on my website, www.faustruggiero.com. Amazon's got everything on their website, and we have links to that on my website. There's a contact link where people can get to me if they need to.
Okay, certainly do that. We're here with Dr. Faust Ruggiero here on the Mike Wagner Show with Fix Your Depression. What else can we expect from you coming up in 2024 and beyond? It's come up pretty quick, by the way.
It's here, just about here. Yeah, we're going to publish this book, have it out before Christmas. I've already started to do the initial outlines for the next book. The next book will be the Fix Your Anger Handbook.
Oh, yes. I think that's very important. We're at a point of anger. So that's going to be something we can talk about next time.
Yeah, we're going to do that. I'll hopefully have 2 books in this year, that one and the Fix Your Fear Handbook. So, those kind of things. Just get people through give people the information they need to be able to address these conditions, these things in their lives with information that works. And I always put action steps at the end of all my chapters. Here, you read this, now do this. So we give them not only the information, we say, if you do this and keep doing it, you're going to feel better.
And certainly no medication involved in the process.
No. The only time I've ever referred people to doctors for medication is if they come into the office and it's one panic attack after another, we can't stop it. I say, okay, fine, we got to get your body calmed down first. But the goal is to have people when it comes to these kind of medications who are working on themselves, who are living day to day without medication, because for the most part, almost everyone, maybe 10% are going to need that. The rest of the people, they can learn to live without it. For 40 years, I've been doing this, and in the early going, everybody didn't have medication. Somehow they all did okay. What would make us think that we can't do it now?
Boy, you talk about 40 years ago, and I'm thinking about it. So it's like, what do we do without the medication? I guess you kind of do a little flashback. It's like, what did we do without the medication? That's the question nowadays.
And what we did was we said, okay, these are the tools. I've got to slowly begin to work on myself. I go to the counselor. He says, do these things. I go do them, but the key is I have it in my head. It's going to take me some time. I keep on going there. I'll keep on doing these things. And there's going to get to be a point where he says, hey, you're doing really great. Let's cut you down to every other week. And then once a month. And then we might see you once or twice a year just to, check and see how things are going. And I see my people from 4 decades ago. I might see them around and I'll say, how you doing? It's still doing great. You gave me the tools. I'm still using them. But this generation says, I don't want your tools. I need it fast. Everything we do here is fast. It's interesting. When we were in college, we'd have to write a paper. Now, there were no computers. The professor, or even in high school, they assigned you a topic. You had to go to physically to the library. You had to tell the person, okay, the library, this is what I want. Then you went to these drawers. They were called card catalogs.
I remember that. Yes. What was it? The Dewey System. Yes.
Yep. You got the little card. It said to go in row number, whatever, section row, and where on the shelf, and you found your book if it was there. Hopefully nobody took it out, and you got it. And we put together great stuff. And that's how we lived our life. Now, and we knew what we were talking about, encyclopedias, whatever. Now they have the internet at their disposal, and they know less than we did. And the reason is they stopped becoming people who wanted to learn. And when you're not the person that wants to learn and says, give me the facts, you take face value, what everyone says, because you want it fast. That's just torn our society and people. It's just torn us apart.
And that's a really good point you hit upon too. And I think I'll go to the library and start looking up stuff afterwards too. So I'm going to do that and ditch the phone computer. I'm going right to the library and do some research. So I think we have to do that. So
the key is to become a person who wants to learn as much as you can about anything and not learn fast. And because as you learn those little incremental pieces we talk about, little by little, you learn it, then you apply that. You got that. Now you go to the next step. You got that. You go to the next step. They're not doing that. They're going, okay, I got this. Get me to the end because I really want that good feeling that comes at the end. That can only last for so long. And then what you got to do is you got to keep on going to the end over and over and over again because you don't know the processes that you needed to learn in the middle.
Right. And that's a very important thing to do. And what's the website and how people can reach you at?
Yeah, it's www.faustruggiero.com. Again, there's a contact link there. By all means, contact me if you have any questions. I'm good about getting back to people, and everything you need to know about me. The books, excerpts from the books are all there, so you can see what you're going to be buying if you want to buy. So by all means, go and check things out. Get back to me if you want to.
We'll certainly do that as well, too. We're here with Dr. Faust Ruggiero of the Fix Your Depression Handbook here on the Mike Wagner Show. Dr. Faust, it's always great to have you on. A very big thank you for your time. You're always amazing. Looking forward to having you soon again. Keep in touch. Keep us up to date. Looking forward to hearing about number 4, number 5. Again, what's your website? How do people contact you? Again, how do people purchase or check out your books?
Again, www.faustruggiero.com, myname.com, and everything you need about the books are there. The links to get the books are there, or you can go to Amazon, type in my name, and everything comes up.
We'll certainly do that. Once again, Dr. Faust, a very big thank you for your time. As always, you're always definitely a great guest. Looking forward to having you again soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Live have you back. Wish you all best. And Dr. Faust, you definitely have a great future ahead of you. Don't forget to keep in touch.
Thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure. God bless.